This is my most exciting position to hire for here at How Not To, because it is the entire reason our store exists, is to help us make better content. We do not make content for the store. The store exists so we can make content. I think that's an important distinction because, yes, it is marketing for what we do, but that is not the primary driver. The driver is to answer every question that's been asked about life supporting gear. So we're looking for somebody who can be a producer, but most importantly, a storyteller. So I just spent all day researching stick clips, and I'm going to be filming that tomorrow. And that'd be really boring if I said stick clip buying guide 2025. Like, it opens with a good hook. It has 3 different countries I'm in. We stitch it together, why you should care about each thing we're going to tell you about. And so a lot of people watch it. And I think it helps more people than even watch for the stick clip itself. So story is an important aspect of what we need in a producer. That person, the first person we hire, is going to be managing the other people that we hire. So I don't necessarily need them to be a climber, caver, canyoneer, or a rope access technician. Those are the categories we cover. Really helps if you have some sort of a background in them. And it's most important, I think, if you understand what gear fear is. Because if you don't understand what it's like to question the thing you're trusting your life to, that is the core essence of this channel. The producer needs to go talk to the experts, gather the data, go talk to our nerds that we already have relationships with, and help put together nerdy graphs like I'll throw up here on the screen for me to be able to start my video. Because everything I did today is something the producer could have done. I weighed this stuff, I measured this stuff, and our website was wrong in a dozen places. So all that would be fixed, and then the story would be roughed out, and I would still be the guy in front of the camera. And I don't need camera operator as much as I need somebody to make sure I don't say stupid stuff, that I am factually accurate, because I care about that. The audience cares about that. So let me go into the position and the details of what would make you qualified for the role I'm specifically trying to hire, because the first person is a very important role in the direction of this channel. We specifically explore life-supporting gear, and we sometimes kind of shit test things as Instagram Reels or whatever, see what's popular, see what questions come up, and then if something is popular, we'll pull on that thread. Or if we've been asked 100 times to make a video about something, that's a good indicator, right? Then we'll make a long video, cut that up into shorts, and we don't try, like, it really needs to tell its own story by itself. Then I want an article written that would be in our email newsletter, but also specifically our ebooks, which would summarize everything we've been doing in case you don't want to go watch 1,000 videos. It should be easy to learn everything we've ever learned about a topic in 1 to 2 hours if you're brand new to the channel. Our email newsletters summarize everything we've done for the week and has behind the scenes stuff. And I want them to be full value, like Climbing Magazine, but better, more content dense, and just more helpful overall, which means our science and what we're learning and what we're testing, because we have break test machines, in case you don't know that, is really helpful. Helpful is the North Star for us. So we can take one question like, what happens if you don't finish your figure 8? You stop tying it because you're mid-conversation and then you only tie half of it. How dangerous is that? We pull it, we test it, we cyclically load it, we talk to people who have done it before, we look for accidents, we make a whole long about it. Cut that into shorts, put it in a newsletter, see if we can get feedback before we hit publish, and put it in a book about that specific knot, whether it's our knot book or our Breaking Gear Fear book or our Bolting Bible, whatever it's relevant for. And we start the cycle over. And that is what you would be in charge of. As of May of 2025, we have 10 plus employees. We have 5 million in annual sales. If you take what we are doing daily, extrapolate it out 365 days, and have produced over 1,000 videos so far. I've done this for 8 years. I have anywhere from 200 to 500 million views, a billion, depending how you count them. Got a lot of views. We've built a brand. But all of that has basically been done entirely by me as core producer. I have help making videos every once in a while, but the not fun parts and all the editing has been done by me. And I'm not looking for an editor, though it is, you'll see at what point you would be doing some rough edits, because if you were present, it makes it a lot easier for you to put the stuff in order for the editor. I am about to burst 90% of your guys' bubbles. You must live within 45 minutes of where I'm standing. 45 minutes of the store if you want to look up the address. It's in Issaquah, Washington. I need you to be in person. I need you standing right there. I need to talk to you in person. The feedback loop is so much faster and better. I have tried remote so much. This is an in-person job, though you would not be working right here with me 5 days a week. This would be about 30% of your week. We'll get more into that later. If you don't need to be here, you wouldn't be here. You'd be at the store. This lab and studio is not at the store. And then you'd be working remotely. And then you'd come here and we would collab. And that, well, in a perfect world, would be maybe 3 times a week. Realistically, that'd be a couple hours every day. This job is for someone who can dig deep into a subject, structure a tight, engaging narrative, coordinate all the moving pieces to make it happen, manage several people, the editors, the experts, the talent. It won't just be me on camera someday. And get the final product across the finish line. Because I would still edit final versions, but I'm only going to step in, make it the flavor it's always been, train whoever's currently editing to try to dial them in, and then be the person who greenlights stuff, stands here in front of the camera. I am involved, but all the rest of that stuff needs to be taken over the finish line, and you need to be kind of a self-starter, go-getter, self-manager in order to do that. We also need to make videos about categories or products, about things we have in stock. We have every stick clip in stock, but not very much of it. If this was being done well, we would have 2 or 3 times the amount of inventory about the thing, knowing I'm about to pump out 5 shorts and a good long and an email about stick clips. It needs to coordinate with stuff that people buy. Otherwise, if you do help them out and they know what to get and you don't have it, that's not helpful to them or to making payroll. The things that you would own as the producer. Researching episode topics and collaborating with experts to uncover the aha moments. We don't stop scratching the itch until we get manufacturers to go, really? Writing scripts and story outlines for long-form episodes and shorts. Planning and scheduling shoot days, gear testing sessions, and expert interviews. You would be maybe Zoom call type interviews or in person maybe. Getting clips, like that'd be filmed. We'd be taking snippets of that and putting them in the video and adding layers and layers and layers of information so they're more helpful. Because I ran out of new stuff to say about 5 years ago. So everything I say now, I have to research. Being physically present during most filming to track footage, shoot lists, notes, and continuity. Now, I have been shooting for so long, I can shoot without you sometimes if it doesn't make sense to have you go to a place, right? I'm going to be on El Capitan next week. We already have a person filming. I almost prefer to film it myself. Don't need you at every single shoot, but when I have people who come here to shoot with me, it is really hard to be the audio guy, the camera guy, the script guy, the shit tester, fact checker, keep us on track. Man, it would be nice to have help. You would manage the editors, script drafts, and feedback cycles to keep the projects moving. Things usually go well until they hit a brick wall and you got to push through that to get anything done. You would coordinate with our gear store and the COO of the store. So, like I said, we have the things that we'll be making videos about. You would be converting finished product. The long episode has 100% of the information that will exist. And then shorts, emails, and the things that go in the books is just different flavors of that same thing. There's no new information. And you would be in charge of converting that over. And yes, we do use ChatGPT to a point. We use it to kind of do a rough draft. I fix it all, and then I have it make sure I didn't screw up sentence structure or something. So it is a part of our flow. It is not able to do all of these things. We still need humans. I get invited to a lot of things. So you'd be organizing special trips, collaborations, or gear testing events. If somebody wants to come here and do something, you'd have to talk to our engineer to make sure that we have the brake test machines ready and functional, that they know when to show up. And you would be prepping them on how to be on camera, to look at the glass and not off screen like this. And we'd have a whole video for them on how to be and not be before they show up, so they feel prepared and what to expect, and that we never try to make anybody look bad, that they can trust us, that they will get to see the footage before we publish it, which not every YouTuber does. So you would do that with them. I would walk into the room with the script already done and them prepped. And I'd shake their hand and we'd turn on the camera. I'm fantasizing now. It is our intention, I have not done yet, is to run paid ads on our most popular content. We will let the internet decide what was good content, what they liked the most, and then run that ad to the audience we want to target. Because right now it just kind of shoots it out to a million random people. And we kind of wanted to go to a specific group of people. And we would want the producer to help manage those campaigns. So you run them for a little while, you let Facebook explore what audiences to hit based on the requirements. And then if it bombs, you turn it off. And if it does well, you turn it up. It needs to be managed. That would fall on you. You need to be a natural storyteller. You need to know how to tell a story. It is going to be part of the interview process. Can you explain complex topics simply and memorably? That is a core thing of what I have tried to learn how to do for the last 1,000 episodes. Think Bill Nye the Science Guy, or Veritasium, or Linus Tech Tips. I think our channel is more like Linus Tech Tips than anybody else, where he's kind of Linus is a little nerdy, kind of over my head if I don't know what that graphics card is. We make it a little bit simpler that even if you don't care about graphic cards, you typically watch. I'm a pretty organized individual, but I will squirrel because I'm running so many things, spinning too many plates, and my no button is broken. So I need whoever I'm working with to be hyper organized. I don't want to ask you to clean the lab up. I would like you to ask me to clean up my mess if you are not able to clean up the mess. So I need you to guide me around. I don't want to be guiding the person that I'm going to hire around. As the person who researched and the person who was there while it was filmed, it is important for you to compile the footage and the outline on Adobe Premiere for the editor. Because the editor is not going to know the topic. They're not going to know what we usually film. Usually it's one camera or this camera and my phone, and that's it. It's relatively a simple setup, but if we shot an intro here, shot with the phone, and shot the outro here, that needs to be put in there so they don't have to watch the whole thing and try to put it back, put Humpty Dumpty back together. So we call that version 1. And that would be a lot of what you're doing. It's important that you're not intimidated by unfamiliar topics. Unless you just happen to be an engineer, a climber, and a great storyteller, there are things that are going to be outside your wheelhouse. And you need to be really comfortable in that environment and exploring things that you've never done. I actually do like not having an engineering degree specifically because I ask questions that I think the audience would ask. If I knew too much, there'd be a gap there between the curiosity that I have currently and I already know it, and it would be hard to know what the audience knows and doesn't know. So I would love to have an engineer. Does not need to be an engineer. You need to be experienced in managing small teams. You need to have done it before. You need to have proof you have done it before because you will be managing a handful of people per project. We will have specialists. Bobby's on this channel often. He is going to specialize in projects that he is an expert in. He already knows how to pull together stories and stuff, but he's going to be a specialist sharpshooter. He's not going to be the overarching producer. But you need to manage him and the editor and the store, making sure we have the stuff, and the break tests and the engineer, and you need to coordinate all that. So you need to be experienced in doing that. Speaking of experience, you have, and these things are required. And I've thought a lot about what I really want somebody to have. At least 3 years in content production or project coordinating as a freelance or in-house. If you've done it for yourself, you need to really show that it was full-time. There's a lot of people who have a camera as a hobby, and they have one client on the side occasionally. That's not what I'm talking about. You need experience in publishing at least 25 video projects, documentaries, YouTubes, branded content, educational series, etc. That's only one a month. That's less than one a month if you have 3 years experience. I have 1,000. I need somebody who's a core person helping me to have done enough to be able to catch up. I don't expect somebody to be as good at the thing as me that I've hyper specialized in this one thing I'm hiring for. I understand that. But please be self-aware enough whether or not you'd be helpful to me. Please don't apply because you want the job. Please apply if you are qualified, because I really, really need the help. And this channel will just explode and do so much more good if I have the right help. And if you believe in the channel and what we're doing, and you're not the right person, please don't apply. You need to have experience in writing and scripting nonfiction video content. You need to have done it before. Experience working with designers and editors and subject matter experts to execute creative content. Investigative journalist would be a good title if I had to pick something. You really have to explore something you don't know anything about and then tell a story about it. Johnny Harrison? Asterix. Not trying to be mean here. Managing a business's social media doesn't count. I don't care how long you've done it. Doesn't count. I don't care what business. It is not what I'm doing. It is not what you'd be doing here. It is so much different than that. And I'm looking for somebody who's actually produced content in story form to answer questions that no one has the answer to. We're not trying to sell makeup here. So this is a very different thing than managing our social media. So please understand the distinction there. Kudos if you have climbing, caving, canyon, rope access experience. If you're an engineer, if you have experience with paid ad testing, A/B optimization, or newsletter performance tracking. Newsletters, email newsletters, go deep. Just URL trackings and HTML code, and it gets clipped over after 122 kilobytes, maybe after 100, depending on how you do it, how to condense the HTML, and should we go HTML or do we continue to use Klaviyo? Goes deep. If you know some of that stuff, if you're really good at some of that stuff, you're gonna get filtered to the top. We're going to want people who have these extra things they bring to the table. If you have written blog posts, articles, and email newsletters based on technical content. I still write the core email part. ChatGPT is gonna do the base. I'm gonna change it to actually be good, and then ChatGPT would detail it. But if you have a nice solid background in that, you would be able to quadruple what I'd be able to put out. And that's what I'm looking for. If you have editing experience, especially with Adobe Premiere, that would come in handy. It would be nice if you did a version 2. Version 1 is you put in order. Version 2 is you cut it up and make all the good stuff usable. There's 5 versions in my workflow. I would likely touch every last version for a while. We're not there yet to where I don't do that. But I want it handed to me on a laptop with it already. I'm not going to try to find the footage and stuff. I want to dedicate an hour into detailing and fixing it. I want it recorded, screen recorded, and every editor to watch what I did every single time so they get more and more close to what I'm trying to get at. Plus, I would be learning from the editors because I want to hire some good editors. So stay tuned if you're an editor and you don't qualify for this role. There are people who are better at editing certain things than I am. I'm really good at editing story about boring shit. So I have yet to meet anybody who can do that. Please let me know if you know somebody. Another kudo would be having worked with a brand where the content ties into product, services, or launches. More of a CMO, marketing level stuff. This isn't managing somebody's Instagram. That's different. You would know the difference if you've done it. The compensation package will be a range. It's a range. $75,000 to $125,000. That's the target of what we're looking to pay as a salary. And that is dependent on experience and what you bring to the table. The bonus structure is based on performance. And I always like to have a carrot for whoever's working here. It's going to take you 90 days to just know what you're doing. But after that, and we hit all the key metrics and the goals, not necessarily sales. I don't necessarily think that's a good mark. That's where private equity has ruined the world. But if we're putting out really great content consistently, hitting targets that I know are hard to hit, we would build a bonus structure around that. PTO and sick pay are negotiable, medical benefits after 90 days, and relocation reimbursement. If you do not live around here, you're the right fit for the role, and you're really excited about it, I would consider covering some of the expenses to have you move here. Seattle is a wonderful place to live. The work structure or logistics would be a 5-day-a-week role. The specific days may vary based on filming needs. 30% of the time would be in the studio or lab working directly with me. 70% of the time would be at the store or working remote, prepping scripts and things like that. A lot of the stuff you have to touch, a lot of the gear, right? A lot of this stick clip stuff could have easily been weighed, measured, and counted at the store. Would not have had to have been done here. Our current output right now, I do by myself as the CEO, CMO, CFO, GM, the buyer, and the talent. I put out 1 long form a week, 4 shorts, 1 newsletter per week. That's part-time solo, right? Your target as a full-time person with as much help as you need and can manage, 3 long forms weekly, good ones, 7 reels, 7 infographics, where the photos go like that, but helpful. 2 newsletters per week. I want the Saturday newsletter to get really good. Then after we cannot fit everything into it, we'll have a Wednesday and a Saturday newsletter. I think it'd be too much. On this channel, it would be too much to go beyond that. We would have to do subsidiary channels. Regular ebook updates with annual reprints. My goal is to print every book that we make. So format and stuff has to be a really nice workflow. I already have a book designer I like, but our workflow really sucks as far as taking this and turning it into a book. So the workflow would become more and more easy over time. Additional content for How Not To subsidiaries. So if SlackSnap has an Instagram that we want to pump out something a few times a week, you would be in charge of making sure that happens. It doesn't mean you have to do the posting. It just means you're in charge. This is not an on-camera position, but after 90 days, there's an option to participate in episodes. I don't want to pretend you're not here. And if you are interviewing experts, it'd be nice if maybe your question that you ask is incorporated in there so we know who that person is talking to. Watch a Veritasium video, one of his latest 5 episodes. He's in them, but he also has producers helping him, and you see them. Something like that. I really like what he's doing. Career growth. I always like to have a ladder and a carrot for people. Comes from building systems and media skills that, if we get good enough, can offer to other marketing services to other businesses. There's a big gap in the market out there for people who can manage other businesses' social medias. And if we get good enough at it that it's easy for us to do ourselves, let's do it for other people. And selling those services to other people is where you can have a cut of that. We do not just build brake test machines for ourselves. We are building brake test machines to sell. That is the concept of SlackSnap. I need media services. Once we dial that in, I want to offer it to other people. And there's a lot of potential. If we get good at it and you can run a team, a lot of potential for growth. The interview process is this Google form, which if you send an application, Russ, our COO of the store, will be reviewing them and you will be interviewing with him. And then you will be doing a second interview with someone else. The third interview is with me. I am too excited and too chatty to talk to everybody. I would hire probably everybody who applies. So I need people I trust to tell me who are the best ones. Then we would do a paid offsite interview where you do a project with me, but you don't have to come in person. It's just, I kind of like throw you to the wolves for a small project. You do it. If I like it, we do an in-person paid interview. And even if you don't live around here, you'd fly in. We would do a project for 2-3 days, crank out something hard. And if that flow goes well, then we would either do a second one or you would just be hired at that point. And there will be 90 days of onboarding to get good at anything. We'd focus you on one thing till you're good. Like, we'd make you productive pretty quickly. The Google form, we try to keep to a minimum, try to keep it simple, try to keep the application process to not suck for you and to not suck to read. But it does help us understand whether or not you're the right person for this job, because that's what we're trying to do. The brief cover letter is really important. We cannot just have your resume. I want to know specifically why you're the right person for this job. Helps me know that you've watched this video, that you understand the channel enough to know that you've done enough self-aware checking that you're the right person for this job. It also helps keep the resume machine guns from just throwing their resume at us. You have had to do the thing before. So let's see the thing you've done before. Please link 3 to 5 things that you had a key role in playing and tell me what role that was. The secret sauce to our channel is gear fear, and that is wondering about how your gear actually works while actively depending your life on it. Watch the first 30 seconds of any of our long content or the first 10 seconds of any of the shorts. The premise is in the first 30 seconds. The hook is there. The question is there. The why you should watch is there. Please write 3 different episode ideas about gear fear that you've had, that you've personally had. Doesn't have to be about climbing. You do not have to be a climber to have this job. It could be about a motorcycle you drove and you're wondering if the tire would explode if you drove too fast. Could be about your seatbelt in your car. Could be about a boat you were on, and anything. You have been afraid of something in the past, you wondered how it worked, and if you could brake test it and explore it, how would you do that? I need to know that you understand the sauce, that you know how to write the premise, the synopsis of what an episode would be. Whatever the gear fear you've had, the more personal it is, the better it will turn out. I would like to see a resume, so please attach that, and please include your phone number. We will always text and call first. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing who filters to the top of the interviews, the ones that I'll be doing. See ya.